Welcome to the Deep Dive. We do the research so you don't have to. Today, we're going to be diving into Dexcom. You probably know them for their continuous glucose monitors, CGMs, mostly used by people with diabetes.
Right.
But
Dexcom's not content with just that. Their goals are way bigger than diabetes management. They're looking at being a major player in the overall health and wellness space. And some of their recent moves have been pretty interesting.
it almost sounds like they're playing in two completely different worlds.
Exactly. They've got that balance. The traditional medical devices market
Uh,
with this emerging world of everyday health. In the medical device market, they're very much focused on accurate CGMs, things like their G series, which are used for diabetes management.
but on that everyday health side, that's where it gets interesting, right?
Yeah, they're targeting people with pre-diabetes, health enthusiasts, biohackers even, just anyone who wants to better understand their metabolic health. And their big tool in this market is the Stelo CGM.
So essentially, they're going after two very different customer bases with very different needs.
Yes, and that's a challenge in itself. But what makes Dexcom stand out? Well, their CGMs have a few key advantages. First off, accuracy is incredible. They boast single-digit MRD levels, meaning their readings are almost as good as a lab test.
Especially for people relying on those readings to make decisions about their health, that's got to be critical.
Absolutely. And beyond just accuracy, they've been really pushing the envelope with innovation. They were first to enable direct-to-smartphone data transmission, no more bulky receivers. They also pioneered the integrated CGM, the iCGM, which really paved the way for these automated insulin delivery systems. Oh, and they have a 15-day sensor in development, which would be a big game changer in terms of convenience.
So accuracy and innovation, check and check. What else gives them an edge?
Partnerships. Strategic partnerships, they're teaming up with other companies in the health and wellness space. You've got their partnership with ARA, the company behind those smart rings that track sleep and activity. So combining glucose data with ARA's biometrics can create a much more holistic health picture.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk more about Stelo. That over-the-counter CGM seems like their entry point into that much bigger everyday health market.
You could say that it's designed for a broader audience than their traditional CGMs. It could be people who are pre-diabetic, just trying to eat healthier, or those biohackers. They want to see how their lifestyle is impacting their glucose levels.
Stelo is a bit more accessible, less medical, right?
Right, available online, eventually on Amazon, so it breaks down a lot of those traditional barriers, packed with user-friendly features, too.
So could Stelo be the key to unlocking even more growth for them? What about this partnership with ARA? How does that factor into their growth strategy?
Those are great questions, and they actually both tie into a critical factor for Dexcom, insurance and reimbursement. Getting wider insurance coverage, especially for Stelo, that's going to be crucial for Dexcom. It's a tough sell convincing insurance companies that CGMs are valuable for people who don't have diabetes.
It is. It is. Okay, so what about their existing CGM business? How are they doing financially?
They're doing well. Revenue is growing steadily. They hit $4.03 billion in 2024. Profitability is strong, too. They're managing their finances responsibly. Always a good sign.
But I imagine there are some challenges, some bumps in the road. What do they face moving forward?
Sure. The CGM market, well, it's getting more competitive, and then you have those data privacy concerns that always come up when you're dealing with personal health information and making sure that this technology is accessible. You don't want it to be a luxury only for the wealthy.
All very valid points. Okay, so what's next? What does the future hold for Dexcom?
Dexcom's not resting on its laurels. They're working on that next-gen CGM, the G8. And what's really interesting here is this platform could potentially measure things beyond just glucose. Think blood pressure, sleep quality, you name it, all from a single device.
Wow, taking their ambitions to a whole new level, really pushing those boundaries of what's possible with biosensing.
Exactly. And this gets to the heart of what Dexcom is trying to do. They're not just about managing diseases. They're trying to make us think differently about being healthy and actively optimizing well-being. Now let's dive into their role in the automated insulin delivery market, or the AID market, as it's known. This is where those integrated CGMs we talked about really shine.
Right, because for any automated system to work, you need that accurate, reliable glucose data. And that's Dexcom's bread and butter.
Precisely. And they're working directly with insulin pump manufacturers to create and improve these automated insulin delivery systems. One great example is their partnership with Tandem Diabetes Care. Together, they created the T-Slim X2 insulin pump with Control IQ technology.
So it's like a closed-loop system. The Dexcom CGM provides the data, and the Tandem pump adjusts the insulin delivery based on those readings automatically.
Exactly. It's a huge step forward for diabetes management, and Dexcom is playing a key role in making that a reality for a lot of people. Now, going back to your question about Stelo and the ORA partnership, let's think about how those pieces connect to the bigger picture for Dexcom.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around how it all fits into their strategy.
It's all about expanding beyond that diabetes market and really gathering more data to understand individual health in a broader way. So with Stelo, you open the door to people who are interested in their metabolic health, but they don't necessarily have diabetes. And then the ARRA partnership adds sleep and activity data to the mix. It creates a much richer picture.
They're building a more complete picture of a person's health, and that could lead to more personalized recommendations, interventions, all that good stuff.
Precisely. It's about going beyond simply managing glucose and moving towards this more holistic approach to health and wellness.
That brings us back to insurance. Wider reimbursement. Is that the key for Dexcom to really take off?
It's a big piece of the puzzle for sure. Getting insurance companies on board with covering CGMs for people without diabetes, well, it's a tough sell, but they've made some progress. As of January 2025, two of the three largest pharmacy benefit managers in the U.S. now cover Dexcom CGMs for, well, pretty much anyone with diabetes. So that translates to coverage for over 5 million people with type 2 diabetes who weren't on insulin.
That's huge. What about the remaining, 20 million people in that category?
They're not giving up. They're actively involved in initiatives to prove the clinical and economic benefits of broader CGM adoption. A perfect example is their randomized control trial for people with type 2 diabetes not on insulin, hoping that data will really sway the insurance companies.
Sounds like a multi-pronged approach. What else are they doing?
It's a combo. Clinical evidence, real-world data, economic arguments. They're making this compelling case that CGMs aren't just nice to have, but a must-have for effective diabetes management, and not just for those on insulin.
Pulling out all the stops to show the value of CGMs?
Exactly. They're giving data to the insurance companies, to policymakers, showing that CGM use is linked to better blood sugar control, fewer complications, and just overall better diabetes management.
Tangible results, hard to argue with those.
Right, and they're not just relying on clinical trials. Real-world evidence, pulling info from electronic health records, patient registries, showing how CGMs are actually being used, the impact they're having on patients in real life.
A complete picture. Research and the real world. Clever.
But it's not just the clinical side. There are also economic arguments to make.
Ah, yes, the bottom line. How are they making the case that CGMs can actually save money?
By showing that wider CGM adoption, well, it can lead to cost savings for the healthcare system as a whole.
Better blood sugar control, fewer complications means fewer hospitalizations, fewer ER visits, all those expensive interventions.
So the idea is that the upfront cost of CGMs, yeah, it might seem high, but the long-term savings could actually outweigh that investment. Precisely. And they've got data from health economic studies analyzing those costs and benefits to back up their claims.
It sounds like they're really laying the groundwork to convince insurance companies and policymakers that wider CGM coverage is a win-win for patients and for payers.
They are, and with that expanded pharmacy benefit manager coverage they already have, it seems to be working.
Okay, so we've talked about accuracy and innovation. But how accurate are Dexcom's CGMs really? How do they stack up against the competition?
Dexcom takes accuracy very seriously. Remember those single-digit MRD levels we talked about earlier? Well, those are a testament to their advanced technology.
Yeah, but for someone who isn't a scientist, what does that actually mean for the folks using these devices every day?
It means peace of mind. They can trust those readings. They can make informed decisions about their insulin dosages, about meal planning, exercise, knowing they have reliable information.
I can imagine that brings a lot of comfort.
Absolutely, but important to remember that no CGM is perfect. There will always be some variations in readings, and it's vital to use them as directed. Follow those manufacturer's instructions.
Very good point. So how do Dexcom's CGMs compare to others on the market?
They're consistently ranked among the most accurate devices available. They've built a reputation for reliability and precision, and that's why so many people trust them all over the world.
And with their dedication to innovation, I bet we can expect even better accuracy, better reliability from their future CGMs.
Absolutely. Now, let's not forget another key ingredient in their success, user experience. It's not just about advanced technology. It's about making sure that technology is easy to use, accessible, that it fits into people's lives.
So it's the whole ecosystem around it, not just the device itself.
Exactly. They're thinking about the entire user journey, from the moment someone starts considering CGM to their ongoing interaction with the device, the software.
And it shows that user-centric approach, it's everywhere.
Yeah. Like with the design, their CGMs are sleek, discreet, comfortable to wear.
They don't feel like a big, clunky medical device, more like a natural part of you.
Right. And the setup, simple, intuitive. Even if you're a first-time user, you can get started easily.
And once you're good to go, the Dexcom app is packed with info and features designed to empower users to manage their diabetes effectively.
You've got your glucose readings in real time, of course, alerts for highs and lows, and you can track trends and patterns.
It's like having a personal diabetes coach right there on your phone.
And they're always adding new features, new functionalities. They listen to their users and make sure the products meet their needs.
I think they're going above and beyond those core features.
Yes, making it fun, engaging. I mean, they've even gamified some parts of diabetes management, so staying on track is more motivating, more enjoyable.
Love that approach. Managing a chronic condition like diabetes, that can be hard, so adding some fun to it can make a real difference.
Absolutely. And accessibility is important to them. They want their CGMs to be available to everyone, no matter their tech skills or their financial situation.
So they've designed those products and software to be user-friendly. They have a bunch of support resources, and they're working hard to bring down the cost of CGMs, make sure they're covered more widely by insurance.
It's clear they really care about making this life-changing technology accessible to everyone.
And it sounds like their efforts are paying off. They're impacting the lives of people with diabetes all over the world.
Absolutely. Giving individuals the power to take control of their health, live life to the fullest. Now, their dedication to innovation, they aren't content with just refining what they already have. They're always pushing, seeing what's possible with this biosensing technology.
That 15-day sensor is a great example of that.
Can you imagine? Only changing your sensor every 2 weeks, that would be a game changer. So much more convenient and comfortable, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, there's more.
Way more. They're exploring multi-analyte sensors that could measure things beyond glucose.
Like what? Give me an example.
Blood pressure, sleep patterns, even things like lactate and ketones, all from one device. It could change the way we manage our health. We'd have a much more complete, personalized understanding of our bodies.
That's pretty incredible. Dexcom really seems to be at the forefront of this whole exciting field.
They are, and that commitment to innovation, it's going to keep them leading the CGM market for years to come. And let's not forget the role of software and data analytics in their success. They aren't just a hardware company. They're using software to improve the user experience, get insights from the data those CGMs are collecting.
That's where the Dexcom Clarity software comes in, right?
Exactly. It's a cloud-based platform, so users can see their glucose data, track trends, share that info with their doctors.
A valuable tool for patients and clinicians alike. Gives them both a clearer picture of how someone's managing their glucose.
Exactly. And Dexcom is always tweaking and improving clarity, adding new features based on what their users are saying. And they're using data analytics to develop personalized insights and recommendations. So they analyze those patterns in glucose data, and they can pinpoint potential areas for improvement, offer tailored guidance to help users really fine-tune their diabetes management.
Like a virtual diabetes coach that's always learning, always adapting to what you need.
Precisely. And as they gather more data, analyze more data, those insights are only going to become more sophisticated and more impactful.
So it's not just about the products, it's about building this whole connected health platform that's changing how we think about managing our health, understanding our health.
That's it. And their focus on software and data analytics, well, it really shows their forward-thinking approach, their dedication to building that holistic ecosystem that empowers users and improves outcomes.
Really impressive to see them pushing those boundaries.
It is. Okay, let's talk about their global reach. They're not content with just the U.S. market. They're expanding internationally and aggressively.
So how are they going about it, this global expansion?
Strategically, of course, they're playing to their strengths and adapting to each region's unique needs. And their international growth has been impressive. Revenue from outside the U.S. actually grew faster than their U.S. business in 2024.
So they're tapping into markets where there are high rates of diabetes and that awareness of CGMs is growing?
Exactly. And they're not just taking their U.S. model and slapping it on other countries. They're tailoring their products, tailoring their services to the specific needs of each market.
Can you give me a concrete example of that?
Sure. In some regions, they're focusing on their Dexcom One Plus system. It's more affordable, more accessible compared to their flagship G series.
Makes sense. Reach more people in markets where cost is a major factor.
Exactly. And in other markets, they're going direct, establishing their own sales and distribution channels so they have more control over the customer experience.
A bold move shows how committed they are to building that strong presence in key international markets.
It is, and it's working. Strong growth in Europe and Asia and other regions.
Their global expansion, it really speaks to their vision, that ambition to make CGMs the standard of care for people with diabetes
A
everywhere.
worthwhile mission, and they're well on their way. Okay, so their move into the over-the-counter market, the OTC market, with their Stelo CGM.
That could have a big impact, right? Not just for them, but for the whole CGM market.
Potentially, yeah. Stelo is aimed at a much broader audience, people with prediabetes, health enthusiasts, anyone who's just curious about their metabolic health.
And it's more accessible, more affordable? Right.
Yes, it's available online. Eventually, it'll be on Amazon. It shows that Dexcom sees a huge opportunity in that everyday health market.
They're betting that people are more interested in understanding their metabolic health and that CGMs can play a role in that.
Exactly. And they're probably right. Wearables, health tracking apps, all that's exploding in popularity. People are taking a more proactive approach to managing their health.
And Dexcom's well positioned to capitalize on that. But aren't there challenges with getting into that OTC market?
Oh, definitely. One of the biggest hurdles. Insurance coverage. Most insurance plans don't cover CGMs for people who don't have diabetes. So Dexcom has to convince people to shell out their own money for Stelo.
That's a big ask, especially when you think about all the cheaper, more readily available health tracking options out there.
It is, but they're betting that Stelo offers something different. Real value. It's not just another fitness tracker. It's giving you accurate and actionable insights into your glucose levels.
So they're taking their expertise in diabetes management and they're developing software features specifically for this new audience.
Exactly. And they're partnering with other companies like LRI to enhance the value proposition of Stelo, integrate it into a broader health management platform.
Sounds like they're pulling out all the stops to make sure Stelo takes off.
They are. Entering that OTC market, it's a bold move. It'll be really interesting to see how it plays out.
It could really shake up the whole CGM market, make this technology that's been so valuable in diabetes management accessible to a lot more people.
Definitely could. Now, let's talk about their financial performance, their long-term prospects. They've had an incredible run, their revenue increasing year after year.
Yeah, $4.03 billion in 2024. It really shows their market position, their ability to deliver on their growth strategy.
Right. And they're predicting even stronger growth in 2025. Revenue expected to hit $4.6 billion.
That kind of growth, that's got to be fueled by a lot of things. Expanding CGM adoption, new products coming out that move into the OTC market.
Exactly. Their financial strength lets them invest in R&D, expand globally, and pursue strategic partnerships.
They seem really well positioned to benefit from that growing demand for CGMs to keep that leadership position in the market.
They are, but of course it's not all sunshine and roses. They have some challenges like increasing competition, the changing landscape of reimbursements, and that constant need to innovate to stay ahead of the curve.
True. But, they have a track record of overcoming challenges and exceeding expectations.
Absolutely. They've got a talented team, strong brand, deep understanding of the diabetes market.
And they're driven by that mission to make a positive impact for people with diabetes all over the world.
A clear mission, a strong vision, and they execute well. Dexcom is definitely one to watch. And honestly, they're just getting started.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here, but let's zoom out a little bit. Dexcom's story, it's a bigger story, right? It's about how technology is changing the whole landscape of healthcare.
You're absolutely right. They're a symbol of that transformation. They've taken something as complex as diabetes and made it easier to manage, easier to understand, less of a burden.
Their CGMs have given millions of people a sense of control and freedom, maybe a sense they never thought they'd have.
And they've done it by focusing relentlessly on innovation, on accuracy, on that user experience.
It's a company that's driven by that mission to improve lives. And their impact goes way beyond the diabetes community.
It does. Their story reminds us that healthcare isn't just about treating diseases, it's about giving people the tools to live the healthiest lives possible. And technology is a big part of that. Users can set their target glucose ranges, customize alerts, and choose how they want their data displayed.
So it's really tailored to them.
Exactly. And remember how you talked about data analytics? Dexcom is using that to develop personalized insights and recommendations, too.
Right. So by analyzing the patterns in someone's glucose data, they can figure out where there's room for improvement and then give specific advice to help users manage their diabetes better.
Yeah, it's like a virtual diabetes coach. It's always learning and adapting to what you need.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. What else are they doing on the user experience front?
Accessibility is a huge focus for them. They really want to make their CGMs accessible to as many people as possible.
So I guess that means designing user-friendly products, offering good support resources, things like that.
Exactly, and working to bring down the cost of CGMs, make sure they're covered by insurance. They're trying to break down those barriers to make this life-changing tech available.
That makes sense. And they're finding ways to make diabetes management more engaging, less of a chore, too.
Absolutely. They've even gamified some aspects of it, so staying on track feels more like fun and less like a burden.
I love that. What about integration? Are they working on connecting with other health and wellness platforms?
Oh, yeah, they're all over that. They've partnered up with a bunch of companies to incorporate their CGMs into a wider ecosystem of tools and services. purposes.
So people can easily manage their diabetes alongside other aspects of their health, like fitness, nutrition, sleep.
Right. Dexcom's really taking this holistic approach to user experience. They're not just making products, they're creating a world where diabetes has less of an impact, where people with diabetes can thrive.
It's inspiring to see a company that's so focused on making life better for its users.
It really is. Now, to wrap up our deep dive, let's look beyond diabetes. Think about the potential of their technology in other areas.
So they're not just thinking about diabetes management anymore.
Nope. While diabetes is still their main focus, they're looking at how their CGMs and that data analytics platform could be used in other areas of health and wellness.
You know, it's interesting. Their sensors are so good at measuring glucose. I wonder if they could be used to track other things too.
That's exactly what they're researching, using those sensors to track other biomarkers like lactate, ketones, maybe even cortisol.
So you're saying one day we might have a single device that gives us this complete picture of our metabolic health.
Exactly. You could monitor your energy levels, your stress response, how you're doing overall.
That would be amazing. And it sounds like Dexcom is leading the charge on this.
They are, and they've already made some progress, applying their tech to things like weight management and sports performance.
Their partnership with ARRA, that's a perfect example of how they're moving into that wider health and wellness space.
Right? By combining their CGM data with our RA's sleep data, activity data, heart rate, they're building a much more complete picture of a person's health.
And as they collect more data, the insights they can offer, well, they'll only get more valuable.
Exactly. Dexcom's tech has so much potential, and with their focus on innovation, they're going to keep pushing the boundaries in healthcare.
It's a really exciting time to be watching Dexcom. Can't wait to see what they do next.
This deep dive has been fascinating. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have.
We've covered so much, from their innovative technology and partnerships to their focus on user experience and social impact.
Dexcom is more than just a company pushing the boundaries of healthcare. They're redefining what it means to be a responsible and impactful business.
They're definitely a company to watch. I'm excited to see what the future holds for them.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on this deep dive. What stood out to you? Anything surprising?
Share your reactions. Let's keep the conversation going. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. We've got another fascinating topic coming up.
Until then, keep exploring.